Everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Apocryphal Podcast. Your one-stop shop for everything Wednesday Apocryphal and podcast. Boy, do we have a show for you today. We are covering...
Before we start, I need a very important distinction made. What is the difference between everything Friday and everything Wednesday, and how do you give that to me?
Well, you see...
I still don't feel like I got everything Friday
it's
or
the same,
Sunday.
It's the same stuff you find at TGIFs.
Oh.
And on Wednesday,
I could have got macaroni that whole time.
You could have, but you chose not to.
Wow.
On Wednesday...
Nothing.
It's just Wednesday, my dudes.
So nothing
It's
I
hump
could
day.
have had like...
Yeah, it's hump day.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You're getting everything that you can out of your Wednesday. You're watching Wednesday Apocryphal Podcast. Episode
True.
201, but really episode 2.
Well, no, it's also kind of 201.
No, we're like the Bible or other biblical scholars or other canons that are bad in the sense that we don't really have a great number methodology.
Well, no,
We're like one of those commentaries where the commentary set covers like a bunch of books, and then one book chapters like 1 through 13.
Yeah, something like that. And it's kind of like, I don't know why he did this still, but
I don't know why we're on episode 201 when it's obviously episode 2.
Get out of here. It's definitely 201.
Uh-oh.
All right. I mean, hopefully that we got a little error.
But
But hopefully that goes away. So, anyways, we are covering the Gospel of Judas today.
the Gospel of Judas.
And in the Gospel of Judas, Judas is the good guy.
Judas was always the good guy.
Well, the thing is, he's portrayed as the bad guy in the Gospels.
Yeah, but as atheists, we love
Right.
Judas.
Of course. We love everything that Jesus hates or something. Yeah. So the issue with, or the thing about the Gospel of Judas is we do have like potential references to it, right? In some early church fathers, I think Irenaeus mentions a potential one, but I think he was Greek, and the work itself that we have extant now is a Coptic version that is from a few centuries afterwards. I think the actual manuscript itself was from the 4th century.
Yes.
I think.
The book that you have, by the way, I have a translation. This isn't a book.
Right. It's
well,
just a
technically
translation.
it's a book. It's the Gospel of Judas, right?
Right, of course,
it's
yes.
Not bound, but it's translated by Rudolf Kaiser, Marvin Mayer, Gregor Wurst, in collaborations with Francois Godard, which I'm just going to call the Mayer translation.
Mayer's fine, yeah. And I have from the Anchor Bible series, Anchor Yale Bible series, the Gospel of Judas, a new translation with introduction and commentary from David. Is it Brake or Brack? I don't know. It's B-R-A-K-K-E.
I'm going to say Bracky.
Bracky?
Yeah.
Maybe it might be. I don't actually know. Either way, the introduction is pretty good, and
it's lengthy.
It is lengthy, but
it's much lengthier than the Gospel of Judas.
That is true. The Gospel of Judas itself is really short.
It's very short. It's this.
It's like what, 7 pages in that one?
Page, like
maybe not even.
I don't know.
Either way, so the reason you might notice how it starts at 33 for us. So the reason for that is because the codex that it's found in, I think, contains 5 different books, and the numbering is essentially the page numbers, I guess. And it starts. This book is the 3rd tractate, or the 3rd book of that codex, and it starts on page 33. So that is why that's happening that way. That's why it's starting at 33.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, the book, it has an interesting setup.
Yes. Okay, Cosmic Sauce is right. So you, since you have a better way of doing this, should pretend to be Jesus in our background picture, and that way you can be making out with Judas. Hopefully that's close enough. You know what? That's good. That's good enough. That is cute, and Sumami will do something with it.
Okay. Wonderful. I'm glad you were able to have your fun because now it's serious time.
Yeah, now we're getting serious.
Serious Gospel of Judas stuff here. It's interesting. It's broken down into essentially sections. Right?
Yeah, and it's not written by Judas. Let's be clear here.
Right.
Definitely not written by Judas.
There's essentially 3 major scenes, right? And then there's some connecting scenes, like an introduction and epilogue.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's essentially the setup. So it is possible that there are additions here or there.
Totally, yeah.
Especially because it's so segmented.
It is, yeah. So we start off with basically all of the revelation that Jesus gives to Judas about, why he should be the one to kill him and why it has to happen. And honestly, Judas is just doing his godly duty. But this is a Gnostic work. So the second half of the book is very much concerned with Gnostic issues. I think it even, what's the heading for this? It talked about the aeons, right? The primary aeons, and then it goes into the incorruptible race of Seth. So we got a Sethian text in our hands,
yes,
possibly.
There are Sethian motifs. However, if
there was a section here.
There is some question as to whether it is genuinely a Gnostic work,
right?
Or if it's just grouped in there because it happens to have some Sethian themes,
right? Yeah. So I mean, once we talk about some of these I found was actually to me this is what spoke to its Gnostic tone. So the inclusion of Saklas, right?
Yes.
And
Saklas would be an alternative way to refer to the Demiurge or Yaldabaoth.
Yes.
It's just a different name that pops up in different texts.
And that the only other place that appeared that I remember for our readings so far has been the Secret Book of John, which is referenced multiple times in the introduction. And
the Secret Book of John is kind of...
It also has Barbalos, right? Or
Barbalo.
Barbalo. Yeah, Barbalo.
The Mother Father.
And in this work, he claimed that Irenaeus also wrote against, was it the Barbellians or something like that? But the thing is, in that same work, Irenaeus was talking about how horrible the Cainites are. That's what he called them, I think, because it kind of matches the theological tone of what Irenaeus was talking about, that we were able to identify this. But he also mentions people who follow Barbalo. And I was like, oh, hey, I remember Barbalo. I remember Sakla, right?
Right. An essential part of the Gnostic Trinity. So Barbalo would be the Mother Father. That's the first thought of the Father, and it becomes the womb of creation.
Yeah.
Right. And from the Mother Father, engaging with a joint consensual thought with the Father.
Right. It's ridiculous.
They produce the Son. And that's the Gnostic Trinity that serves as the head of the pleroma. So, anyways.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of this you wanted to actually go over, or if there was stuff that you needed to...
I outlined some stuff there. I'm sure you took note of some of the...
Yeah, definitely some of it I've already mentioned.
Be worth going over.
Yeah. I mean, stuff about genre... Yeah, I'm not sure if all of this has to be noted.
Mm-hmm. There's Irenaeus.
Yeah, we did note the...
though it's unclear whether this is what Irenaeus was referring to.
True, yeah. It just... Because I think the issue was because all of our translated works or all of our surviving records of Irenaeus are in Latin. It's the Latin translation of the Greek. Mm-hmm. So would they have also translated the name?
But also Irenaeus doesn't really provide a descriptive enough account of this to be useful.
Right, but obviously this was so horrible that he wrote it. I think it was in Against Heresies that he wrote that.
Yes. Interesting book, by the way.
If we identify the gospel as Sethian or Gnostic, we should allow its evidence to revise what we mean by those categories. That is fair. Rather than assessing this author's work against a modern template of what Sethianism or Gnosticism would be, or should be. We should use this as part of what we build, right? Mm-hmm. As part of our building blocks for the Gnostics, which is definitely what we should do. But we'll get into it, right, once we actually start reading it.
Yes, there's a little bit about genre in there.
Yeah, something about it possibly being like an appearance gospel or whatever, but I didn't really care too much about it.
Right. The details
how could have been just an apocalypse.
Well, yeah, the appearance gospels.
Nothing changed, but everything changed.
Yes, of course. The appearance gospels are so few in number that, I mean, they're actually all listed in there, and there's like less than 10. So I struggle to even refer to them as a unified genre.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess, sorry, Landon, it seems as if our chatbot is not talkative.
Yeah, it wasn't working yesterday either.
Weird.
Yeah. So, well, that is something I should
Maybe we
figure
need
out.
a new bot.
It might just be like I'd have to like log in or some shit.
I don't know. I could look.
Yeah, it might be that. Like you just go on Nightbot and log in.
Okay, I
or
can
Something
do
like
that.
that.
Yeah. So that might be the best way to do it. But yeah, we also have this this idea of like the special race receiving this word, right? And if you remember, in multiple books that we've read, it was only a special race, a special generation that has gotten like this secret word. Mm-hmm. So I referenced this in my talk on the Trinity, right? About the God's titty milk.
Yeah.
That was only given to a special race, to a certain generation. It was.
You could interpret it that way.
I mean, it literally said given to this generation, and
yeah, it was given at a specific point in time.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But either way, like a lot of Gnostic themes have to do with this, how special that generation was.
You're so special, you Gnostics. You must be, because you went extinct.
Because you said you were, yeah.
Well, you went extinct. You're very special.
The alternative is not the generation, but the lineage. And with the Sethian Gnostics specifically, which we do have some Descent of Seth stuff here, the Sethian Gnostics are very, very much so about your lineage. Though it's more of like a spiritual, and like I don't think they're literally referring to the progeny of Seth. I think there's a lot of figurative language in Gnostic language.
I mean, definitely, but the thing is how often ancient cultures like to identify themselves with like the heroes of old.
I don't think they were really referring to themselves as something special, though, because if you think about it, who is Seth?
Well, he would have been he was the son of Noah, right? Was he? No, he was the son of Adam. Yeah. Yes. I was thinking of like.
So when you remove Cain and Abel from the story, right?
Right.
Cain is like despised. Presumably there's Cainites.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, remember with it specifically says that he went off and like made cities and stuff. He found people.
Yeah, but isn't Noah a descendant of Seth?
Was he? I don't even remember. But either way, yeah. So yeah, the idea is of a global flood, there would only be
descendants
one family,
of Seth.
Right? Yeah,
yeah. The only people who would be around would be descendants of Seth.
Did we ever start reading?
No.
Oh, good. I was like,
this is zoned out entirely.
No, I was working on trying to get the chatbot to do anything. I'm sorry. I heard what you were saying, but I was like, is this reading related yet? No.
Right, yeah, almost.
But when they refer to themselves as the descendant, as in the lineage of Seth, as Sethians, right? They're referring to themselves as a member of an enlightened group, right?
Hold on.
They've achieved gnosis.
Were they? Because the thing is, they probably didn't refer to themselves as Sethians. They probably... Maybe while identifying themselves with Seth, that was probably spurred on by other people's identification with, maybe other prophets or something.
Well, my point is that if you follow the Noah story, everyone would be a descendant of Seth who was around at the time that the
Sure.
Gnostics.
Sure. I see. I understand what you're saying, but what I mean is, if other people didn't do that, they had instead a different view of the history of the world or the history of their family or whatever, then you could say that the speciality of this group would be that they attributed all their lineage to Seth. But like, you would still not necessarily say that, they would have to call themselves Sethian.
But are they Sethian in the sense of a descendant of Seth, or are they Sethian in the sense that the Gentiles who convert to Christianity are within the lineage of Abraham?
I guess we'll find out.
All right, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to say before we hop into it?
You know what? Unless you remember something specifically from here you wanted to cover, then I was okay. Like,
Okay.
yeah, some thematic stuff, but I'm sure that we can hit on that.
Oh, we're gonna hit on it. And
Yeah.
In fact, I think I should read off of this while you reference the.
Oh yeah,
hefty
that's right.
commentary.
The commentary, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You can see in that book it's broken down by like sentence, and then there's
Because
notes
this right here is the whole text.
yeah.
This tiny bit is the entire text, and then the rest of it is commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's broken into parts too, because the first part is all the Revelation stuff, and then the second part is which we are going to be doing next week, the domination of the rulers and the rule of Judas. And it's in a section called Questions and Answers.
Okay.
Yep.
So why don't I hop into it then? The Gospel of Judas. The secret account of, you can write insipid if you want.
Well, we can just say it's fine. I think I'll let you know. Right now we're in 33. You can just put down.
Okay.
Yeah, 33 is
Yeah.
fine.
As mine doesn't have it broken down in the same way that yours does.
Right, yeah.
The secret account of the revelation that Jesus spake in conversation with Judas Iscariot during a week, 3 days before he celebrated Passover.
Right. So this is, I think the word that is being used, it's a secret report of judgment is being used there. So there is no doubt. Oh, that's right. This is in Coptic, so I wouldn't be able to actually help. But some of it is still probably similar, right? But either way, he is receiving word from Jesus 8 days prior to the 3 days before he celebrated the Passover. So we're talking about 11 days ahead of his death, right? If you want to say that he died on Passover, if you want to do that, Jesus.
A week, 3 days.
Well, a week and 3 days or a week and it depends on which gospel you follow, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So
here it's a week, 3 days.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Here it is.
This is during 8 days prior to the 3 days. Yeah,
those are different.
You're right. Let's see. The adverbial initial. I don't even know what this is supposed to represent. It's just an N with a dash, with a number of days. Oh, okay, I see. I don't even want to try to pronounce it, but the adverbial initial with a number of days tends to mean duration or extent of time, that is, for 8 days. But the dialogues do not show Jesus speaking continuously with Jesus for 8 days. Rather, the conversations take place during an 8-day period. Well, sure, yeah. The first dialogue presumably occurs on the first day, the final one on the 8th. On the other hand, it is possible that the author imagines more appearances and conversations. Sure. Okay.
All right. Let's move on then. When Jesus appeared on earth, he performed miracles, and great wonders for the salvation of humanity. And since some walked in the way of righteousness, while others walked in their transgressions, the 12 disciples were called.
Oh, I didn't see this because they have a verse by verse commentary and then a general commentary. So why then a period of 8 days? Correspondence to an eighth heaven in some reports of Gnostic systems is unlikely without any such heaven in Judas, which I agree with. I don't know why you use the heavens for that. But apparently some people, including Irenaeus, actually note that, which instead speaks of 72 heavens, 360 firmaments, and a 13th aeon. For Judas, the daimon and his star. Yeah, for Judas, the daimon and his star. On the other hand, the idea that the earth was encircled by 8 spheres, the highest of which was fixed, was so common that 8 appears regularly in ancient works in reference to the cosmos. I guess, but we get a whole bunch of numbers attached to that stuff.
47.
Anyways, Jesus is around here. He's performing miracles and shit for the salvation of humanity. He began to speak with them about the mysteries beyond the world and what would take place at the end. Often, he did not appear to his disciples as himself, but he was found among them as a child.
All right, so already some interesting stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Weird.
So he is, at first, with the mysteries of the world, right? So I'm guessing this is supposed to be Gnostic stuff, the Gnostic mysteries, maybe.
Yeah.
And the, let's see, where does it say mysteries of the world?
Mysteries beyond the world here.
They're described as, the mysteries that Jesus began to teach the disciples are described as I'm not going to try it. No, I'm not going to try it. But it translates, Nagel translates upon the world in the sense of in the world. He argues that it cannot mean beyond in particular. This is just like a kind of like a textual argument. The mysteries are on top of the cosmos in the sense of above, as in Philippians 2:9.
Right. So these are like these great transcendental mysteries that are beyond anything that you've ever imagined, Lawrence.
Right, yeah.
Let's see.
But he also appears as a child in their midst.
Yeah, he appears as a child. Let's see what it says.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
The general commentary.
Mildly absurd.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Mildly is one way to put it.
I mean, come on. There's weirder stuff in this.
He does
all the
appear as a
time.
child in some stories.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, this seems to be like while his ministry is going on,
Right.
that he's appearing as a child.
Which is very strange.
Yeah. You know what? You can probably keep going. I'm gonna look for this. I mean, epithets like children or little ones for the true followers. Wait, hold up. What? All right. So they kind of start talking about this in a really weird way. The parallelism makes clear that Adam's children constitute his race. It turns out, however, that Adam has 2 races.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because this is the mention of Saklas and Adam and the use in other texts.
Mhm.
So it turns out, however, that Adam has 2 races whose destinies at the end of the present world will differ. On the one hand, the entire race of Adam, the earthly man, will be destroyed, while the fruit of the great race of Adam will be exalted. According to the gospel, then a Genea consists of offspring or children, and thus the children in whose midst Jesus is often found when he is not revealing himself to the disciples plausibly can refer to the great and holy race to which he goes when he leaves the disciples. And of course, they use those epithets like children to be like, you're my students, or I've taught you these things.
What's up, kids?
Yeah.
Hello, fellow kids.
You're all my children.
Right, yeah. Incredible.
Mhm. So, one day, he was with his disciples in Judea, and he found them gathered together and seated in pious observance. When he approached his disciples, gathered together and seated and offering a prayer of thanksgiving over the bread, he laughed.
Oh, we are on 34 now. We just got there.
Yes, we are on.
See, I got to tell him because it's not in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you got to tell me because what the heck? How am I supposed?
I just said.
Yep.
Damn you.
The disciples said to him, "Master, why are you laughing at our prayer of thanksgiving?
That's exactly
we
what
have
they
done
sounded.
what is right." And I can't imagine why. He answered and said to them, "I'm not laughing at you.
I'm laughing with you.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at how you sound and look.
Right,
and
yeah.
what you're doing. No, I'm not laughing at you. You are not doing this because of your own will, but because it is through this that your God will be praised." They said,
Jesus laughs because the false god that the disciples worship has devised this ritual meal to receive blessing.
yes, they are doing this worship to this false god based off of his.
Yeah. He has fooled them into. Hold on. Let me check my notes here. Into being seated, gathered, and training for godliness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has fooled them. Oh, you got it.
Yep. And then there's a textual break in the next line, but I prefer to treat it as a dramatic pause.
Okay, fine.
They said, "Master, you are the Son of our God."
Yeah, this one translates it as, they said, "Teacher, it is you who are the Son of our God."
Mm. Jesus said to them, "How do you know me? Truly, I say to you, no generation of the people that are among you will know me."
Oh shit! So
Wow,
he's expressly blocking people off.
Yes,
From-
and it's the exact opposite of what's preached in the Gospels, where the Gospels say that
Everyone will know.
not a generation will pass before all of these things
Yeah.
will happen. Obviously, a generation passed. He screwed up there.
Yes, he did.
So maybe the Gospel of Judas is more accurate.
Yeah, obviously it's more accurate.
Mm.
This is what actually happened in
Yes.
history.
Yes, this is truly.
This is how it went
historical.
down, guys.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you have any commentary on that section?
No, not really.
Okay, that's his dialogue with his disciples over the prayer of thanksgiving or the Eucharist. So it might be interesting. There might be something in there about the anti-Eucharistic motif.
Well, the thing is, it's anti basically everything. So a lot of this stuff is specifically anti-nascent Christianity.
Yes.
So if the early Christians or whoever are, they have some kind of practice like the Eucharist or a baptism or something, like if there's something that the Christians are for, these guys are against it because that's all ordained by the evil god, by Sakla Yaldabaoth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that piece of shit that's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to, steer clear of anything that he likes.
Yes. Now, here the disciples are about to get pissed off.
Ooh, I love when disciples get pissed off.
Mm-hmm. When his disciples heard this, they started getting angry and infuriated and began blaspheming against him in their hearts.
So these are already his disciples, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't tell them before not to do this?
Yeah, the 12 apostles.
Wow, okay. Well, in this case, Jesus is kind of a dick.
Yeah,
He didn't tell them before.
He completely failed to instruct his students.
Mm-hmm.
When Jesus observed their lack of understanding, he said to them, "Why has this agitation led you to anger? Your God who is within you." And there's a textual break.
Let's see if this one has anything. Why has agitation brought anger to you? Your God who is within you and... textual break. But also
have provoked you to anger.
Yeah,
That's
have
where it starts.
become irritated, which is a little different, honestly, because one is a passive, the other is not.
I see.
But
Are
also,
we in 35
we
now?
had just got to 35.
Yeah, they do have it. It's just bracketed in, like, in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
Yep. So we are now on 35, in the middle of a sentence.
Right.
Your God who is within you, and textual break, have provoked you to anger within your souls. Let any one of you who is strong enough among human beings bring out the perfect human and stand before my face.
Ooh, okay.
They all said, we have the strength, but their spirits did not dare to stand before them.
So it doesn't look like they have the strength.
Except for Judas Iscariot. He was able to stand before him, but he could not look him in the eyes, and he turned his face away. So it was like this, Lawrence. It was like...
Right, yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
I bet Jesus was scared shitless.
Mm.
So I think that
Bad breath, yeah.
it must have been horrible breath.
Yes.
So I do think here, once we start talking about, we are mighty, but their spirit could not dare to, and they all said we are mighty, but their spirit couldn't dare to stand before him. Well, you know what? Don't worry, guys, because according to the shepherd from us, you could interpret not being able to stand or sitting down in a very different way. Right. You could either be so weak that you can't get up, or so powerful and strong that you need a seat for your giant rule.
Get up because of how powerful you are.
Right? Yeah. Yes. It's great.
Yes,
it's
the chair
great.
represents strength and
not strength.
Yep. Judas said to him, I know who you are.
Oh, damn.
And where you've come from.
Oh, shit.
All right.
You are from the immortal realm of Barbelo.
The Aeon of Barbelo.
Yes. And I am not worthy to utter the name of the one who has sent you. So Barbelo, obviously in the Apocryphal of John, secret book of John, the mother, father, as we talked about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Now, all of the beings that are within the pleroma, right, those are... from the Aeon of Barbelo, except when Sophia
breaks off,
broke off and without consent formed her own thought, which became Sakla or Yaldabaoth.
Yes.
So by saying that he is from the Aeon of Barbelo, or the immortal realm of Barbelo,
he's above the god of this world. He's above Yaldabaoth.
Yes, Yaldabaoth doesn't mean shit. Sakla sucks. All right. We're in another subsection. Knowing that Judas was reflecting upon something that was exalted.
Oh, I do want to also point out that, do you remember that part in Mark where he's like, but who do you say that I am?
Mm-hmm.
Judas knows who he is.
Judas knows who he is.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah. Here, he doesn't even ask, do you know who I am?
No, he doesn't. He's just like, I know who you are.
Yeah, Judas calls him out.
Yeah.
Knowing that Judas was reflecting upon something that was exalted, Jesus said to him, step away from the others, and I shall tell you the mysteries of the kingdom. It is possible for you to reach it, but you will grieve a great deal. 36.
Oh, this is kind of interesting. So separate from them, and I will tell you the mysteries of the kingdom, not so that you might go there, but so that you might groan all the more.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, quite different there.
Okay, the Anchor Bible makes Jesus into a total dick. What does the commentary say?
All right, so we're still at 35 there.
That's the end of 35.
Right,
basically.
yes it is. So I am, let's see, currently looking, maybe because we do kind of have an interesting difference between our translations. Mm-hmm. So I am going to check there.
Anyone else notice that the analytics is just gone?
Yes. Maybe we could
So
try
while you're looking for that,
refreshing. I don't know.
hey everybody in the chat, Lawrence is reading a book and not talking to the chat. I can talk to the chat. Hello, chat. How's everybody doing?
Nah, man. It's just gone.
What did you do this Monday
was just up?
Tuesday and Wednesday morning?
Yeah, hopefully your day or week or month, even your year, has been great.
Wow. Yeah, I'm buying time for you
I
to
know.
read, Lawrence.
I know. But either way, but as for the one who sent you, wait, hold on. No, that's not even, it doesn't even have a commentary on it. The section on, like the one that we're wondering about, why it's different.
Nothing.
It's not even talked about.
Wow.
That's a shame because it's very different. And the Anchor Bible one, yeah, you're right. It does turn Jesus into much more of a dick.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're on 36 then.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
All right. For someone else will replace you in order that the 12 disciples may again come to completion with their God. He says their God. He's talking about Yaldabaoth.
Yeah.
Judas said to him, "When will you tell me these things, and when will the great day of light dawn for this generation?" But when he said this, Jesus left him.
Oh, no. He left him.
Yep. All right. The next morning, after this happened, I don't know when you want to take over.
I mean, it's up to you.
37.
If you want to, yeah, fine, for the next
37?
one. Yeah.
The next morning, after this happened, Jesus appeared to his disciples again. They said to him, "Master, where did you go, and what did you do when you left us?" Jesus said to them, "I went to another great and holy generation."
Wow.
So like another aeon.
It also says here, I went to another great and holy race.
Yes.
So because the word Genea, as we talked about.
His disciples said to him, "Lord, what is the great generation that's superior to us and holier than us that is not now in these realms?"
Yes, they're looking for this. If we understand this as a certain race of people, like as in like a family line, not just the people of the time. If we understand it that way, then asking, which one is more exalted and holier,
NASCAR.
it might make more sense there.
Mm-hmm. When Jesus heard this, he laughed and said to them, "Why are you thinking in your hearts about the strong and holy generation?" Around 37.
Well, you know what? Maybe because you just told them that you went to another great and holy race.
He's immediately a total dick about it.
Right, he's like, what? Why are you asking about that?
Yeah,
He's like laughing at them. What a jerk.
Oh, it keeps going like that.
Yep.
You'll see.
Yeah. So we might be on 37, but there also might be some commentary on the rest of 36 there. So, although while he is looking for stuff, hello, chat. Also, if you didn't see it, I did that talk on the origins of the Trinity. So if you have not seen that, that is currently up, and you should watch that after this, because this is obviously the most important thing you're doing right now. And then after that, you watch the lecture, even though you're partway through. Okay, well, I am sorry about the audio issues. That's going to be better next time, I promise. Yeah, Aaron keeps telling me to get a better mic, and I'm like, yes, I will do that. He has told me multiple times now, both publicly and privately. So
You should get a better mic.
I should. Yeah, I should.
You know what you should do? You should read through until the end of 37, and then I'll have commentary for you.
Until the end of 37?
Yeah.
Okay. So, truly, so we're starting 37 then. if you have that down.
In the middle of Jesus speaking.
Right, yeah. So he just asked, why are you thinking in your hearts about the strong and holy generation? Truly, I say to you, no one born of this aeon will see that generation, and no host of angels of the stars will rule over that generation, and no person of mortal birth can associate with it, because that generation does not come from textual break, which has become textual break.
No, not textual break. How could you become this?
Yeah, right. The generation of people among you is from the generation of humanity. Textual break.
No.
Power. Which textual break? The other powers. Textual break by which you rule. So it's not quite the end yet, but so it starts off as almost a... Oh, so we should actually note this. So this isn't entirely complete. We have about 90% of the Gospel of Judas.
Yes.
And we have the beginning, we have the end, we have a whole chunk of the middle, but there are issues in the text. So it is partial, but it's still 90%. That's still pretty good. That's a hell of a lot better than other texts that we have, right?
Yeah.
So
but finish 37 and then
Okay.
I'll have commentary for you.
Okay. When his disciples heard this, they each were troubled in spirit. They could not say a word. Another day, Jesus came up to them. They said to him, Master, we have seen you in a vision, for we have had great dreams. Sexual spirit. No, I got it mixed up. I got it mixed up with the next thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got it mixed
Textual
up
break,
with the next
spirit.
thing. Textual break. No, spirit is actually on a different line.
Jeez,
on a different line entirely. My eyes skipped.
Can we get
Wow.
a T-shirt for Lawrence? The textual break spirit.
Yeah, textual break. Night. Textual break. Spirit was from the troubled spirit line.
All right, this one's a lot more broken than the other ones have been.
Yeah. He said, why have you, textual break, when you, and even you there is in
Question mark.
parentheses. It's like it should probably be there, but it's not in there. When you have gone into hiding. So that is the end of
So
37.
the way this is translated here is, Teacher, we saw you in a dream, for we saw great
Most
dreams
High needs to
in
be
the
fed.
night that passed. But Jesus said, why have you hid yourselves?
Why do you keep hitting yourself? Good point, Jesus.
That's yeah. Why do you keep hitting? Okay, so
But I do have commentary here. So in contrast to his laughter in the previous appearance, Jesus now certainly laughs at the disciples who are presumably offsprings of this aeon, and therefore unable to see and comprehend the mighty and holy race. What survives of the description of the mighty and holy race establishes its superiority through negative contrast. Offspring of this aeon cannot see it. Angelic armies of stars do not rule over it. No mortal human offspring can accompany it.
which does imply that they are not mortal human offspring.
Yes. It does not come from something that came into being. It is different in some way from the race of human beings.
Right. Okay. So this kind of goes back to this idea of
X-Men?
no.
Oh, shoot.
This goes back to that nice shot in the dark though. This goes back to the idea of things being created. So if you recall, in Trinitarian theology, the Arian heresy was the one where Jesus was a created being.
Yes.
But obviously they couldn't have that. That meant he was subordinate to the Father in some way, right? So the idea was that they had to exist together at the beginning. So he is associating this race of people essentially with the nature of the highest God,
Right.
whatever that may be in
So
this
the
case.
X-Men, right?
Well, yeah, because they are from the Aeon of Barbelo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, as I was saying, instead the race is from a race of probably those great people. This awkwardly repetitive formulation may indicate the derivation of the mighty and holy race from the incorruptible race of Seth in the higher realm, and chapter 40, tractate 49, I guess. The race described here is human, but as an origin and a character that transcend this world. It seems to belong to another aeon in a realm of immortality where stars do not rule. Above all, that race is free from rules by others. No angelic army of stars will rule over it. Here the gospel introduces one of its primary themes, the reign of stars and angels over this realm and the people in it. That angels move or lead stars, that the stars are angels, that the angels and stars form one or more armies, and that stars or angels rule over the cosmos in some way, are ideas that run through Jewish and Christian apocalyptic literature. The ancients had long believed that the stars were alive, though they disagreed about how they moved, what kind of bodies they had, and the like. Jews such as Philo and Christians such as Clement and Origen attempted to integrate biblical evidence for the activities of angels and stars with a long tradition of philosophical discussion of these matters. According to Genesis, God created the luminaries in the sky to illuminate the earth, to separate the day and night, and to be signs for seasons and for days and for years. The latter role possibly implied some rationality. The sun and moon, the two great luminaries, possess rulership or arche and rule arcane, the day and night. According to other biblical books, stars could fight battles, as in Judges 5:20 and Daniel 8:9 through 11. And it seems that an individual star could rebel against its task of sending light
because they were
to the
still
nations.
beings. They were the heavenly host.
Yeah. They have a lot here about stars, but the idea is basically
This generation is special.
It goes as far as Philo. They talk about stars as these kind of special beings.
Sure.
Of course, there's the Book of the Luminaries.
Right. Which we will have like a little mini thing about the luminaries next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go on, and why don't you go through chapter 38, and then I will comment.
Oh, all right then. So you want me to read the whole thing then?
Yes.
All right. I suppose I can do that. So let's see. 38. They said, "We have seen a great house with a large altar in it, and 12 men. They are the priests, we would say, and a name. And a crowd of people is waiting at that altar until the priests, textual break, and receive the offerings. But we kept waiting." Don't know if your translation includes something else in there.
For their part, they said, "We saw a large building in which there was a large altar, 12 men who we say are priests, and a name. A multitude were devoted themselves to the altar, blank, the priests, blank, the offerings. We too were devoting ourselves."
Okay, gotcha. Jesus said, "What are the priests like?" So I guess, yeah, this is in their vision. I had completely already forgotten that they were having a vision. So yeah, they apparently did. Or they said, "We have seen you in a vision," right?
Yes.
So he's like, "Yeah, what are the priests like?" So he's checking them, right? He's checking to see if this is a real vision. They said, "Some," textual break,
Oh,
2 weeks.
of course.
Some sacrificed their own children. All right.
To be sure, not only biblical authors and Jews and Christians who followed biblical tradition deployed the accusation of human sacrifice. Rives shows that in the first 2 centuries CE, pagan authors as well, e.g. Plutarch, adduced human sacrifice as a sign of the religiosity that has exceeded all proper bounds, often inspired by evil demons. It was an indication of bad religion. 2nd and 3rd century Christians like Anaxagoras and Clement of Alexandria took up the claims in their criticisms of pagan religions that demons inspired human sacrifice. The charge's connotation of barbarism resonates also with Judas's racial imagery.
You and I talked about this.
Yes.
Like, you and I looked up stuff from the church fathers for this.
Yes.
And I do remember them saying that it was a bad thing, at least, which was silver lining of the church fathers.
Well, the issue was that these were accusations that were made about the
about the Christians,
early Christians.
Right. They were saying that
they were doing all sorts of horrible things, eating children, like human sacrifice.
Yeah, and then they were like, "No, we abhor those things. We hate those things."
Yes.
Yeah, that was essentially the call there. I forget which actual church father we checked, but that was in there.
Yeah.
So, continuing on, so these people sacrifice their own children. So you know what? This might be a reference to the actual Christians that they are differentiating themselves from. Mm-hmm. So maybe this group, didn't see themselves as Christian.
Right.
Yeah. So that is a potential attack on Christians.
Yeah, sacrificing their own children, others their wives.
Yeah. Others their wives in praise and humility with each other. Some sleep with men. Some are involved in slaughter. Some commit a multitude of sins and deeds of lawlessness. And the men who stand before the altar invoke your name. Good for them. They invoke his name. And in all the deeds of their deficiency, the sacrifices are brought to completion. So that now we are on 39, by the way. We just got there with that last sentence.
Yeah. And let me note something.
Yeah, they sleep with men. You know what? Those priests sound like they know how to have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's a common thing that they hate.
Yeah,
Christians.
Yeah.
Students of Gnosticism will note the irony of a Gnostic making such accusations against his opponents. For the charges resemble those that Epiphanius of Salamis would later lodge against the Gnostics of his day.
Yep.
Quote, and if one of them, Gnostics, a man, prematurely ejaculates and the woman becomes pregnant, listen to the even more terrible things that these folks dare to do. As soon as it's feasible, they induce the expulsion of the embryo and take the aborted offspring and grind it up with a mortar and pestle. And they season it with honey, pepper, and other spices and with aromatics so as to not nauseate themselves. Doing this, all the participants belonging to this herd of swine and dogs gather together and partake with the fingers of the ground-up baby. And when in this fashion they have accomplished their act of cannibalism, they pray finally to God. It says, we have not been deceived by the ruler of desire, but rather we have collected the transgression of our brother. And of course, they consider this to be the perfect Passover. Those males among them called Levites do not have sexual intercourse with females, but intercourse with one another. They, of course, are the ones who are preferred and honored among them, but they scorn those who practice religious behavior, purity, and virginity as though they undertook this labor in vain.
I thought they were calling the Gnostics Levites, which was pretty funny to me.
Yeah, it says that he's basically saying they're falsely taking on a priestly identity.
Right, yeah. That is wild.
Yeah.
What a crazy accusation.
Epiphanius. I shared with you the other day that thing that Epiphanius had about women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
There was this one Marian called. We don't actually have any evidence of it except for the fact that Epiphanius mentioned it, and apparently he heard it by word of mouth from someone. And he just goes on a diatribe about how horrible women are and how you should never listen to women about anything.
Hey, you know what? That's Oh wait, Epiphanius. When did he live again? Was that in the? Okay, he was a very early Christian.
Circa 315 to 403.
Okay, so that sounds like around the time that the cult of Thecla would have been at least gaining a little bit of prominence.
Ooh.
So this is a little bit after, or a good chunk after the new prophecy movement started, because Montanism is a little bit older than that. But the thing is, it did get a resurgence in the 3rd century. So it might have been it might have been a threat, right? Because now like women could preach and stuff. They could actually help save people. That's where we start getting like, cults of the saints around this a little bit after this period. So we're actually not quite there yet.
Mhm.
But maybe he felt threatened by a more egalitarian church in some communities.
Mhm. Well, why don't you continue on?
All right, I can do that. So yeah, and they brought all the sacrifices to completion. After they said this, they were quiet, for they were troubled. I wonder why. So yeah, continuing on, it's another section, but it's the same. It's the same number. You don't have to change anything. Jesus said to them, "Why are you troubled? Truly I say to you, all the priests who stand before that altar invoke my name. Again, I say to you, my name has been written on this textual break."
Woo!
Written upon this building of the races and of the stars by the races of the human beings.
Well, yeah, it says here, a textual break of the generations of the stars through the human generations. All right, then. I guess a building would make sense with all the church imagery, right? This great church imagery.
Yeah.
But it could be a few things, probably.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's a broken text.
Yep. And there's not very much commentary on that.
Unfortunate. And they have planted trees without fruit in my name in a shameful manner.
Nice.
Jesus said to them, "Those you have seen receiving the offerings at the altar, that is who you are." Oh, okay. So they're the people getting the offerings. All right. That is the God you serve, and you are those 12 men you have seen. The cattle you have seen brought for sacrifice are the many people you lead astray before that altar. So Jesus here is not making a ton of sense.
No, I get it.
No, I also get it. What I'm saying is that these guys are his disciples. He has been teaching them for however long, but yet he keeps going, "You guys are stupid and you're leading people astray and to death," even though they're all following him.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jesus actually provides two interpretations of the dream. The first one is this one.
Right, yeah.
So before he interprets it in reference to eschatological events, he applies it to the disciples, the Christian leaders and communities of the author's context. His initial question to the disciples, "Why have you become agitated?" echoes his question to them about the Eucharist in his first appearance, "Why has agitation brought anger?" Mm-hmm. In addition, the verbal allusion, the fasting, sexual abstinence, mutual submission that the men in the dream practice recall the disciples' training for godliness. The earlier scene concerned an act of worship aimed at the wrong God, one that involved eating, a component of most sacrifices that involve animals. Viewed in the context of second century sacrificial imagery for the Eucharist and its bread and wine, the disciples' dream becomes a revelation of the true meaning of the disciples' earlier seemingly harmless meal. He further stresses the Christian character of the worship through three statements about his name. Priests at the altar invoke his name has been written on the building, and fruitless trees have been planted in his name.
All right, continuing on here. So I'm not even done with the first interpretation. So yeah, before that altar, the cattle you have seen brought for sacrifice are the many people you lead astray before that altar. We're on 40.
Oh, my.
Now we're on 40.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, this is horrible.
I know, right?
Okay, I got it.
Textual break
No.
will stand. I wanted to know what will stand.
Textual break.
Yeah. And make use of my name in this way, and generations of the pious will remain loyal to him. After him, another man will stand there from the fornicators. So this first one, I I guess the thing that we're missing is someone's name or a title or something. Is that what we're missing? Because it says, like, you know, at least with context, you know, and the generations of the pious will remain loyal to him. Who is him? That's probably okay. So this is probably
they're
Yaldabaoth or
talking
something.
about different men. And there's actually a whole list that occurs here.
No, I'm still in like at the very beginning of 40, where there's that textual
they're talking about. Oh,
yeah. So right at the beginning of 40, this is right after, or this is still kind of during that first interpretation, right?
mm-hmm.
So the first one is like, oh, you guys are the people's sacrifice, or you guys are the one. Those you have seen receiving the offerings at the altar, that is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That is the God you serve. And you are those 12 men you have seen. The cattle you have brought for sacrifice are the many people you lead astray before that altar. Blank will stand and make use of my name in this way, and generations of the pious will remain loyal to him. So because of that use of loyal to him, and then it's saying after him another man will stand there from the fornicators. So one of the fornicators, well, maybe it's one of the fornicators. But either way, who is this mystery man? Is it Yaldabaoth?
I don't know. Just keep going because there's another man.
All right, fine. After him, another man will stand there from the fornicators, and another will stand there from the slayers of children. So these are actually kind of important.
And another.
I know. I'm just writing these down.
And another?
And another will stand there from the slayers of children, and another from those who sleep with men, and those who abstain, and the rest of the people of pollution and lawlessness and error.
Okay.
And those who say we are like angels, they are the stars that bring everything to its. They are the stars that bring everything to its conclusion. For to the human generations, it has been said, look, God has received your sacrifice from the hands of a priest, that is a minister of error. Good dig there, I like it. But it is the Lord of the universe, who commands, on the last day they will be put to shame.
So, for some information on this, the men that will present the sinners are lower rulers, namely the stars that will bring earthly events to their completion. These stars will say to human beings, lo, God has accepted your sacrifice from the hand of a priest. Who's this God? What are the sacrifices he accepts? Who's the priest? Much depends on whether the lengthy explanatory relative cause is the deacon of error or the Lord who gives orders, who presides over the entirety, refers to God or to the priest. The deacon of error and the presiding lord must either be Nebro or Saklas, either of which can be understood as the leader of the error that characterizes the stars.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But Saklas is more likely because, unlike Nebro,
Saklas.
he is presented as ruling this world, to which the entirety must refer, and as giving and not giving commands. In Jesus' later eschatological prophecy, it's Saklas to whom races are brought and to whom they serve, and whom the people will be destroyed, and who they offer sacrifice. It seems more likely then that the God who accepts the sacrifice, who is the deacon of error, or the Lord who gives orders and presides over the entirety, name is Saklas, rather than the priest from whose hand the sacrifice is accepted.
Yeah, I think I agree. It would also make more sense if it was Saklas. Did we check Nightbot, by the way?
Yeah.
Still not working?
I did try it.
Damn.
I messed around with the commands. It didn't do anything.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I logged in and everything, obviously, too, yeah.
well, sure, I get that. That is strange. All right, I'll deal with that one later.
Obviously, so you remember from the Gospel of Truth, there's error.
Yeah, priests of error here.
Yes, and the priest of error is like a representative of error. So it's almost like an antichrist figure.
Kinda, yeah. So, now we're on to 41.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said to them, "Stop sacrificing.
Stop it.
Textual break.
Yay.
Yeah, so it likely alludes to Malachi 1:10, in which the prophet quotes the Lord as saying, "I will not accept a sacrifice from your hands."
Okay. Okay, God. Listen. Do you remember?
In Malachi, the hands from which the Lord will not accept sacrifice belong to the priests of Israel, who the Lord says despise my name.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because he does love sacrifices.
Yeah. The Didache, which we should.
Yes, that should also be on the reading list.
Yes. We should read the
Which we
Didache.
do now have the Hermenia commentary on that.
Combined portions of Malachi 1:11 and 1:14 in order to exhort Christians to keep their sacrifices pure by confessing their sins and settling quarrels with one another before celebrating the Eucharist on Sunday.
So Jesus said to them, "Stop sacrificing," textual break, which you have textual break over the altar, since they are over your stars and your angels and have already come to their conclusion there. So let them be ensnared before you and let them go out. Okay. Unfortunate. It says here about 15 lines missing.
Oh.
Does yours also have that in 41? Yeah, so let them be ensnared before you and let them go. And then 15 missing lines. I feel like there might be something important in there.
Probably.
And then it continues with generations and more textual breaks sporadically. And then later on, in the next one, there's about 17 missing lines.
Oh, mine doesn't have anything about that.
I'm sorry, what? It doesn't have the missing lines?
No.
Okay, so read 41 for you.
41. I gotta flip back.
Yeah, hopefully maybe this is a...
Jesus said to them, "Desist from sacrifices of animals, which missing
Sure.
on the altar, because they're upon your stars and your angels and have already come to completion there. Therefore, consider them," missing textual break, "and let them become manifest." His disciples said, textual break, "Cleanse us from our sins, which we have committed by the deceit of the angels." Jesus said to them, "It is impossible," textual break, them, textual break, "nor can a fountain extinguish the fire of their entire inhabited world, nor can a spring," in a textual break, "give drink to all the races except the great one that is destined. And no single lamp can illuminate the aeons except the second race, nor can a baker feed the entire creation under heaven."
Yeah, so the only part of all of that this has is a baker cannot feed all creation under heaven.
Wow.
That's all this part has. So if you have anything on those verses, that'd be great, because for some reason that's not in here. I think we just have the one manuscript, right? We just have the one codex that has it.
I think. I don't know. Why don't you continue going on?
All right, yeah, while you look for that, because there's also going to be another one in the next section here, in the next page. So if we're going to 42 now.
Mm-hmm.
And textual break to them, and there are a lot. Okay, there are a lot of textual breaks here. So it goes, and blank to them, blank and blank to us, and blank.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that one is
It's
still
the
the same for you. Okay, did you see anything on? Right. Yeah, it's incredible. So, but you have no even note on that. Like, is it?
I mean, we're looking at chapter 41, and
Right. And yours just gives like regular commentary. It's kind of wild then that, you know what, maybe these guys just got a bad photocopy. Maybe that's it. They just didn't have it.
Huh.
They literally maybe missed a page.
yeah, it's just nothing's in there.
Right. Well, I'm glad it's in the Anchor Bible one. So, Jesus said to them, "Stop struggling with me. I'd love to know who the fuck. I'd love to know what the fuck's going on now."
Yeah, I'm lost.
Yeah, and blank to them and blank. Yeah, wild.
That was like mystical. Anyhow.
Yeah. Jesus said to them, "Stop struggling with me. Each of you has his own star, and everybody about 17 lines missing."
Yeah, mine doesn't say that.
Okay, yours, I'm assuming, has the whole thing, probably.
Actually, yours is missing a lot.
Oh, really? 17 lines missing? Isn't missing
all those other blanks?
missing a lot? That's crazy.
His disciples said, "Cleanse us from our sins, which we have committed by the deceit of the angels." Jesus said to them, "It is impossible," textual break, textual break, "nor can a fountain extinguish the fire of the entire inhabited world, nor can a spring in a blank give drink to all the races except the great one that is destined, and no single lamp will illumine all the aeons except the second race, nor can a baker feed the entire creation under heaven, and blank to them, blank, teacher, help us, and blank. Jesus said to them, "Stop contending with me. Each of you has his own star, blank. Of the stars will blank what belongs to it, blank." It is. Did you read past there?
17 lines
I have
missing?
17 lines missing. No, I didn't read past
What's
it.
after that?
Starting at 43. 43 starts after that.
Okay.
Yep.
It is not to the corruptible race that I was sent, but to the mighty and incorruptible race, for no enemy is ruled over that race, nor one of the stars. Truly, I say to you, the pillar of fire will fall suddenly, and that race will not move by the stars. And when Jesus had said these things, he left and took Judas Iscariot with him. He said to him, "The water, blank, the mountain, blank." And then 43 starts.
Wow. That is a lot missing.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
And unfortunately, there's no commentary about the missing material.
Right, yeah.
But I'm going to hand this over to you.
Okay. So you're on this
I'll start
page.
with chapter 43.
43. Here you go, sir. And because of how this is set up, I want to make sure you know what we're doing. So I think I marked it off.
Yeah, the Q&A starts when?
I think it's after, is it 45? I have it written down as the last chapter
this
that we're
thing?
doing.
This thing that you did?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I know where we are.
okay, great. So yeah, it's gonna be like, part way through 46.
Okay.
But we're just gonna call it through 45.
Okay. Blank, who has come, blank, spring for the tree, blank, of this aeon, blank, for a time,
Yes.
blank.
Uh-huh.
But he has come to water God's paradise and the generation that will last, because he will not defile the walk of life, that generation, but blank for all eternity.
Yeah, it's wild how broken this part is.
Yeah.
I think you can if you went.
Yeah.
Judas said, Judas said to him, "Rabbi, what kind of fruit does this generation produce?" Jesus said, "The souls of every human generation will die. When these people, however, have completed the time of the kingdom and the Spirit leaves them, their bodies will die, but their souls will be alive and they will be taken up."
Yep. Differences between it's okay.
Are we on
So
44 now?
is what? Oh
No.
no, we're on 43.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So yeah, but as for these, when they have completed the time of the kingdom, so those are in contrast to the ones that are humans.
Yes.
These are the special ones.
Yeah.
The spirit will separate from them. Yeah, their bodies will die, but their soul will live and be taken up.
Yes.
So.
Judas said, "And what will the rest of the human generations do?" Jesus said, 44.
Yep, Jesus said 44.
44.
Should have said 42.
"It is impossible to sow seed on rock and harvest its fruit. This is also the way textual break.
Textual break.
The defiled generation, textual break, and corruptible Sophia, textual break. The hand that has created mortal people so that their souls go up to the eternal realms above. Truly, I say to you, textual break, angel, textual break, power will be able to see that textual break.
Wow.
These to whom textual break, holy generations, textual break.
Wow, amazing.
After Jesus said this, he departed.
So
I learned so much from this.
I
Thank
bet you did, yeah. So, of course, the corruptible wisdom, corruptible Sophia, that the rulers sow would simply refer to their false teachings, that is, the wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this aeon who are perishing. That's 1 Corinthians 2:6. Something similar to the counterfeit spirit by which the rulers lead human beings astray, according to the secret book of John.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Now
not
we're-
necessarily like the like Sophia herself, the aeon has been corrupted. Yeah.
Now we're on to the final episode of this episode.
Yes.
War star.
Judas said, Master, as you have listened to all of them, now also listen to me, for I've seen a great vision. When Jesus heard this, he laughed and said to him, You 13th spirit.
Ooh.
13th spirit.
That's a lucky one.
Why do you try so hard? But speak up and I shall bear with you. What is the 13th spirit?
Yeah, so I'm currently trying to find that here. So is that's 44 yeah, so it looks like 44 18 through 22ish. Yeah, this I'm going to go to the comments for this cuz that's cool, the 13th spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you 13th spirit, why do you try so hard? But speak up, and I shall bear with you. Judas said to him,
Yes, the title 13th Daimon has generated much scholarly controversy. I wonder why.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of cool stuff we could talk about with that already. And remains enigmatic. But at least some of its significance becomes clear as the fourth appearance continues. In the last days, Judas will become the 13th, and although the races will curse him, he will rule over them, an activity that the lower angels and stars and the disciples now perform. Because there are 12 lower angels that correspond to areas of heaven, the 13th aeon, where Judas' star will rule, must lie above them.
Apocalypse of Adam?
It's, yeah, kind of. It might be tied into that. But
there's the certain number, and then there's the one.
right, yeah,
above.
yeah. Although the Apocalypse of Adam seems more like historically tied, right? Because some of them were cultures that we could identify.
This is the same line of thing.
It's the same
motif.
same motif, yeah, but it's applied entirely differently.
Yeah.
But it is the same motif, yes.
Anyways, we're going into 45.
Yeah. So by the end of this section, not this section, this book, it's all going to be explained that he's going to rule over them.
Yes.
Or will it have textual breaks to the point
It
where
probably also has those.
Judas said to him, In the vision I saw myself as the 12 disciples were stoning me and persecuting me severely. And I also came to the place where, textual break, after you, I saw a house, textual break,
Oh, sweet.
and my eyes could not comprehend its size.
Oh.
Great people were surrounding it, and that house had a roof of greenery, and in the middle of the house was a crowd, 2 lines missing.
Oh, okay. So let's see. In the middle of that house was a crowd. Are we still in? Yeah, we're still in 45.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's see.
We're done after that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, should be. So, okay, so yeah, came to the place after you, saw a building. My eyes could not comprehend the size. Great people were surrounding it, and that building had a roof of greenery, and the people in the midst of the building, textual break. But it also goes on to say, teacher, take me in along with these people.
Yeah,
Did you
saying,
have that?
Master, take me in along with these people.
Yeah.
Jesus answered and said, Judas, your star has led you astray. He continued, no person of mortal birth is worthy.
Wait, did you say Judas? Or does
Yeah.
it say Jesus?
Jesus answered and
Jesus
said,
answered. Okay, good, good.
Judas, your star has led you astray. He continued, no person of mortal birth is worthy to enter the house you have seen, for that place is reserved for the holy. Neither the sun nor the moon will rule there, nor the day, but the holy will abide there always, in the eternal realm with the holy angels.
Well, in this vision, in this case, why are these shitty disciples in this realm?
I don't know. Too many lines are missing.
True.
Look, I have explained to you the mysteries of the kingdom,
Well,
and I have taught you about the error of the stars. And textual break, send it, textual break, on the 12 aeons. That last bit was technically in 46.
Right, but
But that's the end.
yeah,
of
the
reading.
majority of that was 45.
Yes, that's the reading for today. So, what did you guys think?
Well, it's a hell of a lot, aside from textual breaks, it's a hell of a lot better than a lot of the stuff we've read.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have a different afterlife motif.
And, very special group of people will get there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, so far, it's still aligning with Gnostic. It is aligning with Gnostic theology, at least in the broad
They're
scheme.
talking
of
about
things.
Barbalo.
Right, yeah, the same names and everything.
They're going on about aeons.
Yeah.
So I would say this is pretty inarguably Gnostic.
oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely some second century stuff going on here, especially with being tied to Judas, because once during the second century when all the apostles were dead, they started ascribing titles that included the names of apostles or like other authority figures. They were like, how do we add authority to this text that we have? It doesn't have like a name or anything. Well, let's add the name of an apostle because that's how you give it authority. So this heading would have been like added later. Probably
Now,
not in the original.
Next time.
Might have been in the original.
Yeah. Next time we'll be reading, I don't know if we'll read the rest of it.
It looks
probably.
like we would.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
But next time we'll be going over the Q&A session with Jesus.
Yep.
And
So hopefully he can answer some stuff for us. I don't know if Jesus has all the answers, but I guess the Gospel of Judas will tell us.
Jesus has
Yes.
as many answers as
It
he
is.
has textual breaks.
Oh.
less broken, though it does look
Okay.
like there's some more broken parts too. Okay, great. Well, the Gospel of Judas, it's different. It's got some things that I don't know. It's such a broken text.
Did
so
you notice
far.
this? The artwork starting to make sense on this, isn't it?
Mhm.
So it looks like there are 12 disciples, I'm guessing, around, or they're surrounding Judas, and looks like they are doing a sacrifice.
Yeah, they're sacrificing a lamb.
Yeah, if you can see that on this camera, that's what's happening.
Because Jesus is the sacrifice.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
And the lamb.
But we're going to get into that
and
more
God.
Yeah.
next time.
And
So,
Mary.
Uh,
and
so check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Discord. Check us out on Amazon Wishlist. Check us out
Yes.
on, I don't know, like Google.
You could Google.
You could Google us.
You could.
wow.
Let's see.
Watch
but
all our YouTube videos.
all the important stuff is on Patreon and Discord.
Yep.
Those are
Share
the
it with
two
your
main
friends,
things.
family, neighbors. Write it down. Our channel name. Write down a link.
And tape
Write
it
the
right.
URL.
And take the URL and tape it right above all the urinals. So everyone has to read it.
Wow.
Get a tramp stamp tattoo.
Yes, good call.
And then wear pants that are just slightly too big.
Very
so
good.
That they're always falling down. That's just the URL.
That's just
for
good marketing.
Milwaukee Atheists.
Yeah, damn straight. All right. That's the show for today. And did you already tag or pin the shirts and stuff? Okay, good. In that case, we will see you on Wednesday. It's a different day than Friday. See you.